It's mad how I get so deep. It's mad how I get so hard. It's mad how you get me down.
Why do we need to get a mental image of the person we want to become? Because once we can see something in our mind, we can then reverse engineer it and make it come true. Now, I'm not talking wishy-washy garbage here. I'm not saying you can fly around the moon and back if you imagine it. But maybe if you're Elon Musk, maybe you can, okay? The point I'm trying to make is that ideas start off in the mind, and if you can visually see it, you can then develop a belief about it and start to believe in what you want to become. Now, you see, the thing is with visualization is the reason it's powerful is because once you've decided that this is what you believe in your mind is that you can achieve, you can then start to extract that energy from your mind and attack it in real life.
Do you even know what you want? If I was a genie and I could give you what you want right now, do you even know what it is that you would choose? What do you actually want? Oh, Tyson, I want 10k a month, a nice Lamborghini, and a hot bitch to suck on this dick. No, what do you want? That's things, but what do you want? If I could give you one thing right now, what would it be? What do you desire? What's beyond the materialism? What is beyond the goals, these mediocre goals you have in front, like 10k or 5k? Why do you want 10k a month? Why do you want the smoking 10 out of 10, bopping up and down on the old maggot? Why do you want those things? Because if you can figure out the why and the what, then you can then manifest it into your reality by knowing exactly what it is you want. The problem is most young men walk through life not knowing exactly what they want. They have general things, but what are things? We live in this realm of materialism where nothing is actually yours. Nothing is mine. This car will be gone. This body is even rented. One day I'm off ski, the body's gone. Yeah? What do you actually want? You have to look inside yourself and actually reflect. And it's important to do this because if you can figure this out, then the world opens up for you and you actually see the map clearer. The path opens up. You're not clouded by little mini prizes everywhere. You're at the start of the game and you're walking with your character and you keep bumping into little turkeys and coins and you're picking them up and you go, ooh, ooh, ooh. When actually the aim of the game is just to get over there. That's where you want to go, but do you know what it is you want? Why do you want the fast cars? What's it for? You just want people to like you? You want people to think you're cool? Is it all ego? I ask myself these questions a lot. And when I was a younger man, I think around 19, 20, 21-ish, I was in university and I knew I didn't want to be a teacher. That's what the university was leading to. I knew I didn't want to be a PE teacher. I was doing personal training. I was training women up at the gym, some men. Being a footballer. But in my head, I knew that all this mundane shit just wasn't enough for me. I couldn't be okay with the boring 9 to 5, and I worked jobs. I was a cleaner, I was a chef, but it felt very painful to exist in those mundane realities. And that's not the same for everyone. I met lots of people on the way that were completely happy, and I'd argue probably had a better mindset than me then, because at least they weren't destroying their own day with thoughts of nihilism and escaping. You know, I've got to escape, I've got to escape, I've got to escape. And there is something to be said about people that can be present in the moment, and I've learned that now as an older man. You know, not every day has to suck, okay? You need to do hard things as a man, but not every day has to suck. But it comes down to, what do you want out of life? And I didn't know. I just felt something, like the splinter in your mind, like they say in the Matrix. I just knew that I didn't want to be a cleaner. I could work, I could graft, I could roll up my sleeves and put the work in. Everyone says I was a great worker, great. But I just didn't like it. I didn't like learning at university. I thought that was a load of shit. Learning from people about fitness who aren't fit. Some bald guy with a gut teaching me about fitness. And I'm like, what the fuck is this scam? Women, I was seeing right through them. I was learning that they act a certain way and talk a different way. And that's not me hating on them. That's just I was learning the nature of women. So I was like, well, what type of woman do I want? And I tried a few different flavours. And you know, that's what you're doing. You're walking through life as a young man, and in 5 years, 10 years time, what you want might change on the material realm, because it's all hanging low fruits. You're just grabbing them off, trying them, grabbing them off, trying them. But if you can figure out what you really want, if I'm the genie, Tyson's alchemy, and I'm telling you I understand magic, mind control, I get to work with elites, I get to work with rich people, I have these connections, right? Let's just assume that is correct, because it is. And I said to you, I could teach you how to get exactly what you want, but you need to know exactly what it is you want beyond the materialism stuff. Because that's the hard question. You're saying, oh, beyond it. Well, what's beyond all the luxuries and lifestyle? You need to be able to realize why you want those things, right? It's obviously there's a big ego in there. And I'm not saying ego is a problem, but in the spiritual and esoteric walks of life, they know that if you can switch the ego off temporarily, because it's important to have one, you get the answers you need. Now, how do you do this? What does this mean for a young man? This means if you can figure out a way to be still and ignore all the flashing lights in front and actually have a conversation with yourself, or a think, or a meditation, you might get the answers that you need. Why do you want all the money? You know, resources, family, protection, freedom. You know, I'm just throwing a couple of answers out there, but really try and pinpoint why. Ask yourself, do I actually need £1 million? Do you, what for? What would you have it for? And then you probably find out that you probably just want it so you can splash and buy some luxury items and get some cool shit, and you're gonna look cool. Right, cool, that's fine. But then answer the question, why is that important? Why do I need to look cool? Who am I looking cool for? Am I in the Amigo network with Tyson, and that's our brand? It's our brand to look cool. But why? Why does the brand need to look cool? Well, because Tyson wants to link up with other people that are rich. Right, got it. Why do I want to be in Tyson's Amigo network brand? Why do I want to live a luxurious life? Oh, well, I might get money and I might get bitches. Right, well, stop. That's your ego again. And that's fine. That's all the good stuff that comes with the ego materialism life. I'm not going to say no to that. But why? If you can understand why you want that, are you missing something? Is there a chunk of you that's missing from your soul that you're trying to fill, like a jigsaw piece? You're trying to plug it in and complete yourself, complete the game of life as a man. Because there becomes a certain point where you've slept with all the women, not all of them, but you've slept with enough to know what that feels like. You've got money coming in, and you're making good money, so you know what that feels like. And then it's next, and this is where most people fall off, because they don't have a why. They don't understand. They haven't done the inner work. I could give you 50k a month now, and you could live a really sweet life as a young man, living your best life. You could rent a nice car, you could date women, you'd look like a super G. 50k a month, right? But at some point, that's gonna become your norm. And if you don't have the why and what you're doing it all for, you're going to trickle down the slippery path of nihilism and hedonism and distractions and pleasure. And as you know, because you're watching this channel, most people do that. Most people fall down the slippery path. They've got no idea why or where they're going. They just, you know, look at most of the Tate fans. Tate this, Tate that, gambling on crypto coins, just trying to find any way they can to get close to his status and wealth, and then they're not going to get anywhere near it, right? He's built up a very clever circle of people that now keep the circle moving and produce some money for him, and fair play to him. But you're not in his shoes. You're coming from a different era, and you're just not him. You need to figure out who you are, why you want to do what you want to do, because most people will even watch this, if you're still watching this, right? And they'll kind of hear what I'm saying, but then they'll just get this itch to, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, Tyson, but I really need to invest in that crypto coin because I've got a good feeling about this one. And I'm just saying to you, yeah, that's fine, bro. I want you to make loads of money. I want you to live that good G life, because I love that life. And especially when I was younger, and you're a young G, live that best life. But why are you chasing it? Because if you can figure out why, you can reverse engineer the whole process. This is what I've learned from studying things like esotericism, the Kabbalah, religions. Every single one of them tells you the same thing. You can speak what you want into existence. You can have everything you want as long as you're not a slave to it. As long as you don't have a need and a want to have it. The desire's there, but then you trust that it's already coming. Now, if you don't know what's coming, if you don't know what you're entitled to or what the universe is going to give you, then how the fuck are you going to get it? How are you going to get what it is that you want when you don't even know what you want? You're on the ship, you're sailing in the sea, there's winds, there's big blue whales bumping into your ship, and you've got no fucking idea where you're going. Just money, bitches, money, hey. But why? If you can figure out why, you can figure out how. The crypto, gambling, and affiliate market, and all these things, these money schemes are great. They're incomes, right? So keep doing them with your mind on. Don't just fucking gamble all your money away. But have a think to yourself, why do I need the money? Because you might figure out, right, and your life will get 10 times easier, because you might figure out, as a young man in your position, you're like, right, I don't need to be top G. I don't need to earn £500 million a year, actually, right? I could just earn 20k a month. As a young man, as a 21-year-old, living in the world in 2025, 20k a month would be fucking G. I could pretty much do whatever I want. Go-karting on a Thursday, fuck a bitch on a Friday, go out with my mates on a Saturday, relax and go to the gym or something on a Sunday. Like, you could live your best life. Probably 5k a month. Like, when I was young, 5k a month would have been balling like a real G. So I'm just saying, strip the need back for like everything all at once, and you don't really know. You're like a kid in a candy shop. And actually consider for a moment, if you actually dial into what it is you think you need and what you want, you will be able to get the answers. And as I teach in the Inner Architect on my school website, I teach you techniques on how to get your goals, how to be specific with them, and how to get them, how to make them come into your reality, how to pluck them out the ether. Because everything is out in the ether. All the ideas, all the schemes, all the money, it's all just there, and all you have to do is find a way to just zoop, get it in. You can do that with energy. Action, energy equals outcome. If you know what you want, then go through the courses and you can have what you want. It's that simple. I'm not making this up. This isn't something I came up with. This is everything I've learned from the rich people I've spoken to, from all the books I've read, from mentors I've worked with. They have all said the exact same thing, and this is how it works. So if you want to achieve your goals and you know exactly why you want to achieve them, then you need to go over and check out the Inner Architect on Tyson's Alchemy on School and go through the courses. It's $33. It's dollars because it's an American website. 33. I mean, that's the reason it's so cheap is because I wanted it to be accessible. I'm not making loads of money from that. I just want it to be accessible to people, because I wish there was something out there when I was younger of a guy trying to teach people these fucking occult secrets and the magic of the world. Why does it have to be hidden? Fuck keeping it hidden. I'm giving it to you. You deserve the knowledge. If you're willing to put in the work, you deserve the answers. So try and figure out why you want to become the person you want to become, and then reverse engineer it with the skills and the lessons I've taught inside the Inner Architect. Remember, self-hypnosis is the key.